I'm coming on because I just got another message, and I think I'm supposed to speak up. So I just left Breckenridge with absolute chaos. But this is on the lies of this world. This is on how this world has distracted you and lied to you. And I mean, it's just like what God says in His Word is to separate ourselves from the world. It says to not be a friend of the world, but be a friend of Him. And what I just saw was absolute nuts. What I saw were selfish people doing selfish things. I'm not saying it's not that you can't have fun every now and then, but what I saw is fancy cars driving around. What I saw is big fancy homes that were hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And if you know Colorado ski towns, you know that these ski towns are multi-billion-dollar places that attract the rich. And then the rich screw over everyone else and throw those people into 10 by 10 cells, and then they have these huge layouts of land. But the devil has utterly lied to everyone on this world, and he does it constantly. And we are fed that, oh, well, if you just get this house or get this car or get this job or get this piece of whatever, you'll be happy. Oh, if you just have this woman or this lifestyle or this blah blah blah, you name it. And it's and that's the lies we're being fed. But if you speak to the rich that have everything, you find out that they're not happy. There is nothing in this world that will make you happy. I have actually, hold on one second. I'm switching into lower gear. I'm obviously going up the mountain. But, I have lived with having a cottage when I grew up. And so we went down to the coast. And it was not a fancy cottage. It was built during like 1940s, I think, 1940s or 50s, and it was a place where, and it was very, rustic, and it still is to this day rustic. It doesn't have AC in the house. We have individual ACs in the different rooms, but it's a place with no carpeting. It's a place where we potentially could do renovation, but we don't have the money. And if a hurricane hit it, it would be dead because we can't afford the insurance. But as you can see, I'm in a beautiful place in Colorado, and sorry, I'm trying not to get hit as well. But God is trying to wake you up. And when we have these hurricanes and deadly things happening all the time, God is trying to wake us up. He's trying to get our attention. And He's trying to show us and tell us, it's like, hey, you don't put your hopes in a house. You don't put your hopes in a car or whatever. And I have a car, and I don't know if you can see the miles, but it's 194, almost 94,500 miles. And this has been my car for 12 years. I don't get fancy things. Would I enjoy having a new or newish car? Yes. Would I enjoy having this stuff? Yes. But the thing is this stuff will all decay and rust and rot. And what you also don't realize is when your eyes are open and you realize how deceitful and lying this place is, how these people are raking in buttloads and buttloads and buttloads of money off of people. These cars were made to break. If they actually gave a rat's patoot about us, they would actually make cars and other things that would last. And yet, how many times have you had to replace stuff? Like on my car, like I have replaced tires because they're unwilling to fix the low-lying issue. And what God does is He also, it's like an experiment for God. He gives us money and other things, and talents because he wants you to use them. He wants to see how you use those different things. And that reminds me of the talents. Like he gave one talent to one talent, or 5 talents to one, and 10 to another. And I can't remember, but one of them basically doubles it. One person basically gets the same amount back, but the last guy that only had 1 talent, he buried it in the ground because he's like, well, I know how much you like your talents and how much you think of them, so I buried my talent. Sorry, I'm in a really, really rugged place. But basically God said that you are a greedy, selfish individual, and he took the talent away from him and gave it to the other person. But he wants us to use our talents. If you waste your talents and go to something else because it's lucrative, I'm going to be a lawyer, doctor, real estate person because I'm going to make millions and millions of dollars. It's like, that's greedy and selfish, especially when you like, oh, well, I'm going to take a trip to Europe and then to Asia and to Africa. That's called greed. And I don't take vacations that often. I don't take vacations where I go to different places. And what God has done, because he knows my nature of being very frugal, is he allows me to go. I'm on my way to a job interview, and so what he does is he's done this before, where it's like, hey, go to this job interview, and I had fun on the way there and on the way back, and but God has done this to me. Like I went from Idaho and I went down to an Arizona job, and the job fell through. But on the way there and on the way back, I had fun camping, and I visited places I've never been in Nevada before. And Nevada is actually a pretty cool place. It's a place where I didn't realize how beautiful and how nice it was. But it's also a very big state. It's quite big. Obviously not as big as Texas and California, but it's still big. But back to the lies. But yes, and also, we're also fed, it's like, oh, well, take this pill or take that pill, and what they've also done with the medicinal stuff is everything around us has medicinal qualities. Everything around us is made to give us the things we need to live our lives. And what the corporations did, because who was it? Rockefeller. Rockefeller, he had a monopoly over the oil, and he was raking in millions upon millions of dollars, and the government stepped in and said you can no longer do this, and they took his company and divided it into several companies, and basically said you can't do this. And what he did is he came up with a way, because at the time they were testing drugs involving oil, and so they took all this stuff and put it into the drugs, and have been selling you basically it's called snake oil. In the old days, if it were bad medicine, it was called snake oil because it didn't work. They were like, hey, this works well for kneecaps, ACL, MCL, headaches, nausea, vomiting, you name it, it does the deal. And that's a complete lie, because it didn't do anything. And they're doing the same thing. They do not want you healed. If you wanted to make money, what would you do? You would make people come back to you. So you want them to be sick. You want them to not have the means to support themselves. You want them to be completely reliant on you. And that's what the WHO and all these people are trying to do right now. They're on purposely killing millions of birds based on this supposed bird flu. If it was a bird flu, and someone pointed this out, if it was a bird flu, why are nothing but chickens and turkeys affected? If it's a bird flu, so why are songbirds not flying and dying by the millions? And it's because they also use a PCR test. The PCR test does nothing but test for genetic material. And they're using it and claiming, oh, well, they tested positive. It's like, yeah, they may have genetic markers of it in their blood, but, and also, if like a coop is like infected, they don't check any of the other birds. What they do is they slaughter the other ones outright, and anyone near them claiming that, oh, well, they'll be infected because of blah, blah, blah. They make up every excuse in the book. You can use science and manipulate the heck out of it. I'm a wildlife biologist, and I was told it's like you can manipulate data to fit any conclusion you want. And they can say, hey, we ran research, and it may be a one-time study where some fluke in nature caused it to go one way. However, if you ran it 10,000 more times, it would come out with a completely drastically different scenario. So you're fed the lies and BS of this world, saying, oh, well, if you just get this or that, oh, you'll be happy. It's like, and what I've realized is I've tried to take the small things. I've tried to be happy with what I had. It's like, I don't have a lot of money. Where my enjoyment comes is from being out in nature and going hiking and biking. I don't go to movies and spend my money on luxurious products. It's like, why do I need a fancy car? If I can just get a car that does what I need it to do, and I can just pay what I need to, and not pay 50 or 100 grand for a car that's because, oh, well, it looks nice or it acts nice. It's like another thing. These cars have so many gadgets in them that they break. All these gadgets and technologies that you have in your car, what do? They break within 2 or 5 years. And then you have to get new technology. So you have to get some new fandangled radio or some new map or GPS because they came out with new coordinates or new blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, this picks up UVR and URR. I mean, I'm just making up stuff now, but you got my gist. So, like when I had my Jeep, and it was actually, I had floor coverings where I could basically squirt water in it and it would be fine. I had manual, where I could let the window down manually, and it actually lasted and did better than the car that I'm in now. I also had a full-size spare in the back, so if anything happened to my tire, I could throw on the other tire and not even blink an eye. It's like, okay, well, I'll just throw on this tire and I'll keep going. So like when you slice the tires, usually you get a pair, and you can use that spare tire or that nicer spare tire. And nowadays it's like, oh, well, we're going to just put on this donut or this blah, blah, blah. So it's, yeah. So what I'm trying to get at is don't fall for the deceptions. When we're distracted, what the devil is doing is he is distracting us any way he can. He is putting principalities and demons over social media and all these sports and all this other stuff. And it says in the Bible that we do not live by faith alone, but every word and deed. And it also says that what was I going after? That all this stuff will basically like rot, and this is a short-term experience on this world. And it also, there are very few people that will make heaven. And if you do not turn to God in very short order, I've been warned that stuff is happening now. If you haven't seen all the chaos happening where the person with a T in his name and a P in his name just got hit by a projectile, and it's all, and what you don't realize is they're all puppets. They are all run by corporations. They all have people that tell them what to do. Look at how Biden had a person talking for him. It's like, so yeah. But yes. So you can live with a lot less. You don't have to do all these fancy things. What happens is people get bought in by all these other people around. They see all the stuff and they're like, oh, well, I should have that. Or you watch TV or music or movies and like, oh, well, I should act that way because society right now is telling you to go all in with sex and violence and all this other stuff, and saying, hey, it's okay to be an asshole. It's okay to do this. It's okay to be with 10,000 women. It's okay to buy luxurious things. It's okay to be selfish and greedy. And God's word says the complete opposite. It says to have a humble spirit. It says to do stuff behind the scenes. It says to tithe and help your neighbor. It says all these different things, and yet it's like we go right back to the original stuff. And like the stuff that actually makes me come alive is like when I help people. Like I helped 2 homeless people yesterday. I don't care what you say about homeless people. They're there. I mean, many are there because of society. It's like, look at society and how expensive it's gotten. Do you really think that most people have the money it takes to live in this world? I mean, if you're paying $2 and $3 grand for a apartment or any type of whatever, and then you have car payments and insurance payments and food that is $100 to $200 per time, you really think that anyone can afford this place? I mean, in order to live now, you have to have like $200,000 and $300,000, which no one on this earth makes, except for like the lawyers and these real estate people. So, I mean, everyone is hurting financially because what's happening is they want us to take away everything we have that can be used for collateral. When the mark of the beast comes out, they want you to have nothing to counteract it. They want you to lose your house. They want you to lose your car. They want you to live a life where they get to dictate what you do, how you do it, and when you do it. They do not want you to have a life. They will take away everything you have, and you will not have a choice. They have thugs and all these other people that will come work for them. And if you buy into this lie, I mean, right now we are so distracted by sports and entertainment, by politics and all this other stuff, when all the pieces are being moved into place right now for the Antichrist to step in and take over. What needs to happen is the absolute destruction of every government out there, of every kingdom and every principality out there, so the Antichrist can say, look like a savior. What's going to happen is there's going to be utter destruction before he takes the stage. He's going to go, hey, look at what I can do. He's going to be able to make all kinds of things happen. He can make day turn into nighttime, and vice versa. He can do all these different things. He'll be able to do all the signs and wonders that God did. However, it says in the Bible that he will not be able to raise the dead. That's one thing he will not be able to do. And one of the Apocrypha books actually tells about how to recognize the Antichrist. And I can't remember the different things. It was like looking for a mark on the back of the hand was one of them. There was supposedly a tuft of hair that even if when he's able to change himself to a younger form, the tuft of hair remains. And I don't know if they can hide it with like hair dye and that type of thing, but he is definitely here, and it actually says multiple Antichrists. It doesn't say just one. But yes, I'm driving in a place where it's I don't do this very often, where I do fun things. Well, I mean, my fun things, I go hiking and biking, and I have kayaks and that type of thing. I don't have access to that cottage that I told you about earlier. I'm in Colorado, and that's 2,000 miles away. I make very little money, and what I do is I use my money to help others. If someone asks for money or help, I try to help them out. If I see someone in distress, I do watch myself. I mean, in this culture, you have to worry about being abducted. You have to worry about someone coming after you. Like if you're helping someone, then someone comes out of the woods and smashes your head. Yeah, you have to be aware of that. But if you watch your surroundings and try to help someone out, and your gut says to run, then you run. So, but I mean, if you're in the store and someone needs help or needs a extra $10 because they don't have enough money, you can help them. If someone needs help with a smile or a friendly chat, and you can also do this with people in your work and in other places. So, but please don't fall for the lies, and you ought to look into and research these topics. Do not trust anything that comes off of the TV. Do not believe their lies. Do not believe what they say, because they are flat out lying. They're claiming different things, and will say, "Oh, well, aliens are existing." And actually, that's the thing right now. Is aliens are being pushed. These are demons, and they're also what they're going to do is when God takes home his people, the supposed aliens are going to take us back to their mothership. That's not true. What's happening is God's taking his people home. He's taking a group of people home and off of this world. I'm going to have to end it here because I'm entering towns and I don't know which way to go. So take care, God bless, and please turn back to God. Please, look into the stuff that you're being fed. Do not accept things for face value. Do not say, "Oh, well, this person or that person said this." Look into it. We have all these different internet browsers and social media. You can look into it. You can get on things like Rumble and where are the others? TikTok and these others, and see that they are lying their butts off. So, bye for now.